Hey, I got a question for you. When you're setting up your rig to try and like capture Eddie's sound or any artist, particularly from back in the day, I'm just curious, like, have you ever stopped to consider the equipment you're using and how it compares to what was available back in the day? I gotta tell you, until kind of recently, I never really gave it much thought. And in this video, that's what we're gonna look at today. Because I've kind of set my signal chain up to be able to capture a lot of the classic Van Halen tones, and all those effects pedals aren't necessarily just unique to Eddie, but all my pedals are new. Pedals back in those days, they all had their own buffers. There was no such thing as true bypass, and I'm not rocking a 1967 or 68 Marshall Plexi, and that's what Eddie had, and that amp didn't have an effects loop, so he had no choice but to run his effects into the front. And largely I've done the same with my pedal board. I run my EQ, all my modulation pedals in the front. The only thing I have going through the loop is my delay and reverb, and that's just because I read that they would sound like complete junk if they're not in the loop, and I can attest to that because I didn't really know how the effects loop worked until probably earlier this year. So anyway, this video is going to be a little different flavor. It's going to be a little bit of an experiment. But what we're going to do is I've got my 5150 amp here, and I've got that mic'd up with the Shure SM57. Then I've got my Marshall Combo MG 250 DFX over on the floor here. That's running, I'm running that as a line out into my audio interface. And I'm not sure how the sound quality is going to go. For some reason, I'm getting really low input from my Shure mic, which is bizarre because that EVH amp is extremely loud. So we'll see how that all works out. But basically what we're going to do, I have, pardon me, I have quite a bit of noise in my signal, and so I put a noise gate on my board. It's kind of a complicated noise gate. I always get confused when I'm rerouting it. And so the thing is, I've got an EQ pedal. It's an MXR 6-band, and it's like right after my tuner and wah. So I got that, and then I've got my Phase 90, I've got my flanger, and I've got my chorus. And those are all going before the preamp. They're like in the front of the amp. So it goes guitar, then those pedals. And then my reverb and delay, as I mentioned, are in the effects loop. But a few months back when I did a video on pedal order, as I was doing research to make that video, it came to my attention that some people put the mod pedals in the loop as well. And then as I was wrapping up that video, came to light that some people even put the EQ in the effects loop. And so I know that my EQ pedal is what's giving me the noise. That's why I need the noise gate, because if I don't turn it on, my signal is not quite as noisy. It's still noisy because these amps are just loud. But when I engage that EQ, that's when it really gets bad. And I personally think it's because I don't cut frequencies, I'm just boosting a lot of the mids. So I'm essentially like putting more gain, and then it's going into the preamp and getting even more gain. So I have a theory that we're going to test out today. First, I'm going to move the mod pedals because I just want to make sure that the tone color doesn't get too drastically different, preferably not different at all. And in theory, if one of them can move into the loop and it still sounds good, then they should all be good, but I'm just gonna meticulously do it one at a time. And then I'm gonna put the EQ in the effects loop as well, therefore going after the preamp and hopefully cutting down on contributing more gain, you know what I'm saying? So the ultimate goal here is hopefully we can get that noise gate out of the picture. Now I'm just going to give you a quick look at my equipment. We'll show the amp, and then, both amps. We'll show you my Focusrite audio interface that things are plugged into. And then from there, I'm just going to show a top-down view of the board. And as I move one pedal at a time into the effects loop, we'll test both amps, see how it sounds compared to the way it sounded before. And at the end of it all, hopefully everything's in the effects loop except for my wah pedal and my tuner. And hopefully we can lose the noise gate and just simplify things a little bit. And well, we'll see what happens. So I'm going to get to it now. All right, so here's my EVH 5150. It's a 100-watt head. It's the 5153S with the EL34 tubes. I'm old school, so I wanted the EL34s. And as a bonus, it's got that gold finish, that gold grill, so it just looks really badass. As I mentioned, I got it mic'd with one Shure SM57. You know, I could have mic'd it twice, but it doesn't seem like it'd do me much good. I'm not sure if I'm doing something wrong with the mic or what. It's not very loud, as I mentioned. All right, and then we got my little Marshall combo here. I've had this thing for, sheesh, like 20 years. Still works great. So that cord on the left by the power switch there, that's my line out. That's what's running into my digital audio interface, and then the inputs coming off the output of my pedal board. And then this is what I'm using for recording. I got this Focusrite 18i20, and we got the Marshall going into input 1, and the mic for the EVH is into input 2. You can see I don't have the input gain set very high. I mean, I cranked that input 2 gain to see if I'd get a higher meter reading on my DAW, and it wasn't making a difference. So I don't know what the deal is with that, but we're just gonna roll with it, and if the sound sucks, maybe I'll just leave the microphone sound from my lapel mic. All right, so first we'll have a listen to the Marshall, and like I said, since I'm gonna just go in order here, I'm gonna leave the reverb on. Well, we'll leave the reverb off. We'll leave all the echoes off, just so we don't get any color. And I'll show you quickly what I mean about this EQ being a little noisier. Now that's with the noise gate on. You can already hear a big difference if I turn it off. But if I turn the EQ off, see, it's not as bad. So I'm hoping once we get that EQ after the preamp, that problem goes away. For now though, we're just gonna roll with it like it is. So let's hear it with the phaser on. I just have my phaser set to about 9 o'clock. Eddie usually put his around 9 or 10. I played that riff a little bit wrong, but whatever. We're just trying to get some sounds dialed in for today. Okay, so I'm gonna kill that and we're gonna move it. And we're doing that one first because that's my first modulation pedal in the chain. And my first pedal in the effects loop currently is the Echoplex delay. So essentially what I need to do is have this cable go to the in of my phase 90. The output of the phase 90 will take the place going into the Echoplex, and then this one that's currently going into the phase will go into the flanger. So this will take me a minute here. And I just realized I forgot to test it through the EVH, so maybe I'll just run through this a second time. We'll do 1 amp at a time. It's probably just easier that way. Wow, well that seems like that actually got quite a bit different sound. That was with the noise gate on. Let me try the noise gate off. I have a feeling that's going to make it worse though. sure I like that actually so far. That's a bummer. I'm really hoping this is going to work out. All right, well, let's see. So what if we go, let's put the flanger in the loop too. Now theoretically, the only thing that's not in the loop anymore is that MXR. All right, that's pretty noisy. All right, let's see what happens with these mod pedals. Phase. Ah, that's so loud. Let's see. How about the phaser? Or the flanger, my bad. That sounds kind of strange. I might have my settings wrong on that though. I've probably bumped those a few times. Just try something here. I'm not even going to play around with the chorus pedal. We're just going to see what happens. If we just put all these guys in the effects loop, with the exception of the wah and my tuner. And I'm going to cut the noise gate out of the picture for now. Okay, so the wah pedal will be going out direct to the board, or to the amp, I'm sorry. I just really wish I didn't need this noise gate, you know? And who knows, maybe the phaser stays in the front, but the EQ just moves to the effects loop. It's all a question of whatever works the best. And then hopefully it still works as good with my EVH amp, because this is not something that, well, it's nothing I want to be messing with on a regular basis. Okay, so I want my EQ to still be the first guy in line for that loop. Although I don't know that I really need any more gain hitting that phaser. That was so weird. But maybe that noise gate was affecting it in a weird way. We'll find out. I was all excited about this noise gate because I'm like, oh, it's got 4 cable compatibility, but my goodness, I had to watch like 18 videos just to figure out how to hook it up the right way. It's actually really confusing. And I don't like confusing. I'm one of those guys that thinks the simple answer is oftentimes the best answer. Just because it's simple don't mean it's easy. I got some more of these pancake style cables too. These are really, if you can use these usually with your board, you're going to be probably much better off. All right, let's see what we got now. I don't like the way that phaser sounds in the loop. That sucks. Not really sure I'm crazy about how the EQ sounds in the loop either. Son of a gun. Well, might as well see how the flanger and the chorus sound. Yep, I don't like the way that phase 90 sounds in the effects loop, so that's gonna have to go. That's gonna have to go back outside of the loop. Shoot. What about that flanger? How did I think that sounded? Jury's out on that one. We got to figure out what's up with that. Got to figure out what's up with those settings. Yeah, that's so strange. It's like the flanger is quieter in the loop and the phaser is louder. Ah, good Lord. So I don't think I like those things being in the effects loop. I wonder what happens if we just put the EQ in the loop. Let's try that. Okay, so I really don't, I'd like to not use that noise gate anymore. I mean, I got this other noise gate. I got a MXR noise gate. I might have to grab that and we'll try that instead. Just something to kind of put a damper on how loud that EQ is. Okay, so let's see. We don't want, I'll leave the EQ in there for right now. And let's see, I don't think it makes sense to, there's no sense putting the chorus in the loop if none of these other mod pedals are in the loop. That's just kind of ridiculous. So we'll go back to the chorus being out into the amp. And let's try wah pedal. Well, let's see what happens if just the EQ is in the loop. That probably sucks too, but we'll find out. Okay, I left something unplugged. Up the EQ. Shoot. Okay, where does the EQ gotta go? The EQ's gotta go up to the echo plex. Yeah, see, that just sounds way better outside of the loop. Let's try the flanger. Pull that drop D out. Yeah, I don't know. I think these guys sound better not being in the effects loop. So I guess my initial hunch with those was correct. I should have just left well enough alone. All right, let's time to play with fire. Let's turn the EQ back on. Yeah, okay. Still louder. See, I think it's even louder now that I put it in the loop. That's strange. Okay, so, oh my goodness. Let's try and take it back out of the loop. And I may have to bring that M135 Smart Gate out. Which, by the way, is what Eddie used on the 2015 tour. He had a noise gate. And I've got a magazine that shows what his rig was. And I don't think he was actually using his amps effects loop based on what I was reading. It's in a Guitar World, I think. I got it laying around here. I'll probably have to consult with that shortly just to see. Now granted, it's not like it has to be set up his way. I mean, I was trying to not set it up his way because I want to get this noise out of here. Still got the detune out. All right, so shoot, a little bit noisy yet. All right, gonna grab the Smart Gate and we'll see what happens. So like I mentioned, usually I like to go for simplicity. So there's a little bit of irony here, that here I am using this complicated Sentry noise gate from TC. I mean, it's a cool pedal, but I don't know, maybe a little too many bells and whistles for me. I just need that noise reduced. That's all I care about. All right, where in the hell's the power? So we're gonna take that, and we're gonna do this. And we're gonna cross our fingers a little bit. All right, let's see. Well, son of a gun. Looks like for me the answer is that MXR noise gate smart gate. So I'm not going to put everything back the way it was, and I'm not going to make you suffer through watching me clean this board up. But what I am going to do real quick is we're going to plug it into my EVH 5150 just so I can hear, because that thing has like major league gain. So of course it's just going to be a little bit noisier anyway. So my hope is that this setup will still sound good with my other high dollar amp. All right, now on the EVH amp, you got to actually step on a button to turn the effects loop on in the first place. So until I step on that, we won't hear any of the effects. Right, that's just dry. And the thing is, oops, here. The one thing with the EVH amp is it doesn't have built-in reverb, so if I'm playing for real, I would never not have the effects loop engaged because I always want a little bit of reverb. So that's the blue channel, which is like, they're all, I mean, the green one is clean. That sounds pretty. Let's turn on the red. The red's the super high gain. All right, let's crank that EQ on just to give it that bite. That sounded pretty good. And the one reason it's noisy, you can't see me right now, but I'm actually facing the amp, so that always makes it noisier. I'll turn on this delay. Probably got that set a little too high, but whatever. All right, well, I think I'm gonna leave it with that. I'm gonna clean this up, and like I said, I ain't gonna torture you through all that. Looks like I'm leaving my modulation pedals and my EQ outside of the loop. I decided to change my noise gate to a simpler one, and I actually think it works better. This Sentry is, I mean, there's a lot of settings and stuff you can go download. It's good grief, it's almost like its own little computer, but I'm not gonna learn all that stuff probably, so I don't need all that. This is much simpler, works for me. So hopefully you got something out of that. Figured since I was gonna go through the pain, I might as well bring you along for the ride. So, well, there you have it. When it's all said and done, I guess I didn't change my pedal chain order at all. I just kind of ended up swapping out the noise gate for a simpler one, and frankly, it seemed like a more effective one. I should have known if the M135 was good enough for Eddie, that'd be good enough for me too, but you live, you learn. So I got a simpler noise gate that works better, and I ended up leaving my modulation pedals and my EQ even before the preamp. So I hope you found some value, maybe learned something in this video. If you want to learn more about pedal order, you can check out the video I did before on that. And then there's a free download available. You can type pedal order in the comments and I can hook you up with that. It's a little chart and summary. And then if you'd like to get more into just like Eddie's playing style and techniques, definitely check out my video on top 10 Eddie Van Halen techniques, and that's got some nice downloads also available. Or you can type Eddie in the comments and I'll hook you up with that one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on one of those videos or next time.